This is the Chieftain Mark 6, a Tier 10 British collector heavy tank, a vehicle which features fantastic DPM, solid mobility, great turret armor, and overall just an amazing playstyle. The Chieftain has had a bit of a resurgence in the comp scene due to the fact it got reactive armor, and I mean, it's just an incredible tank. Plus, with its legendary camo for Megadeth, I think this is one of the nicest looking vehicles in the game. Now, what if I told you that Wargaming is putting another Chieftain into the game, a Tier 9 Chieftain called the Chieftain Proto. That is not only better in the armor department, but still features a high DPM, accurate HESH firing gun. Well, that is exactly what we're going to be taking a look at in today's video, because that is what is currently in testing. We can see the vehicle right in front of me here. This is the Chieftain Proto, and as you'll notice, it is incredibly similar looking to the Chieftain Mark 6. Funny enough, it actually has better armor. So we're going to take a brief look at the statistics the vehicle has going for it, its accuracy, damage per minute, and mobility, and then we'll take a look at the armor profile. So as we can see, 2,520 DPM if you're running calibrated shells, and 2,700 if you're running gun rammer. That's a lot of damage per minute, especially for tier 9 heavies. That's actually quite solid, and it's going to be one of the best DPM heavies right up there next to the Conqueror and vehicles like the IS-8. So that's really, really good. Penetration-wise, the standard has 273 with calibrated on, and the premium's 326. It's actually the same amount of pen that the Chieftain Mark 6 has, but a tier lower. This is obviously quite nice because you're not going to be going up against as armored opponents every single game you play. And I should mention the tank carries HESH, which has 121 mils of high explosive pen, deals 515 damage, and gives you a whopping 3,249 damage per minute. So yeah, this tank is quite dangerous. Just the gun alone is literally just a Chieftain Mark 6 turned a little bit down on the dial. If we take a look at the shell velocity on the APCR, it's absolutely insane at 1,372 meters a second, and the premium APCR is also just as fast at 1,350. However, just like the Mark 6, the HE is awful on its shell velocity at only 671, which means that you're going to have to get used to that swap to the HE and lead your shots a lot, just as a bit of advice. Now, taking a look at the aiming time, it's fairly fast at 2.04 seconds, and its dispersion is also fantastic at 0.308. So the vehicle has great aiming time, and it's fairly accurate when aimed in. Taking a look at the on-movement dispersion, it's not the best thing ever. It's 0.14, and this is obviously with running V-stabs. So you are going to have a bit of bloom while driving the vehicle on the move. Turret traverse is actually pretty good though. But yeah, hull traverse and moving the tank is going to cause it to bloom a decent amount. But I'd still say it's alright for the accuracy and aiming time the vehicle has. Obviously, as this is a Chieftain, it features 10 degrees of gun depression and a very nice 20 degrees of gun elevation. However, something you might notice is the rear depression is 0 degrees. That is at least what it says on the website. We can take a look here if that is the case. And yeah, notice how you literally cannot aim the gun down. So if you are driving this vehicle and you have to aim behind you, the chances of actually using it properly are going to be hard. Mobility-wise, well, this tank's a little stupid. And that is because, first of all, it's fast. It goes at a top speed of 42, and it reverses at 15. That's not the part that's stupid. See this at the bottom here? The Chieftain Proto also features the ability to either run reactive armor or the ability to run super speed boost. With super speed boost, the top speed goes to 47, the power to weight goes to 19.6, the vehicle can reverse at 25. Essentially, the tank is ridiculously mobile. Now, I don't think it's actually necessary to run speed boost on this vehicle, but if you do, it is going to be a massive boost. You can also run reactive armor, which is going to give you much more effective hit points, which is obviously just going to allow you to live longer. It already has a decent chunk of HP at 2,173, so with reactive, you're increasing that to about 2,400 when it's activated. Just quite a nice consumable, all things considered. As we can see, its camouflage is really good. A lot of people don't know this, but the Chieftain Mark 6 actually features one of the best camo values in Tier 10. In fact, it's the best for a heavy. And this tank features very similar values. While sitting still, it's absolutely fantastic. It means that you're going to be able to sit in bushes without actually worrying about being spotted. So, as we can see on this tank's general overview, it's mobile, it's got great DPM, it's you know, everything is great. It's got gun depression, it's got high levels of accuracy. The gun on the Chieftain Proto is fantastic. And now we arrive to, in my opinion, the best part about the vehicle, which is the armor. As all of us know, the Chieftain Mark 6 has a lot of weak spots when it comes to the armor profile, mainly the fact that higher pen rounds can cut directly through the turret, no problem whatsoever. However, with this tank, that is not going to be an issue. Running calibrated and loading gold, this is what the Chieftain Proto looks like. Yes, it definitely has weak spots. These little spots next to the gun mantlet are pretty weak. They're about 290 mils thick. So standard rounds are definitely going to bounce, but premium rounds will cut directly through. However, the rest of the turret is upwards of 500 millimeters thick everywhere, as we can see. There's not a single spot on the turret that is less than about 500 mils thick, apart from this weak spot on the gun itself. So this is much stronger than the Chieftain Mark 6's turret. And as we can see, using max gun depression almost completely hides the hatch on the top of the vehicle. Now, if you're only using about 6 or 7 degrees, then that hatch is going to be very visible, and it is incredibly weak, only 88 mils thick. So obviously, try at all costs to hide that hatch. You can stick your gun up, but as you can see against AP or APCR ammunition, it will go right through the gun and still pen the hatch. So unfortunately, yeah, it does have some big weak spots, but I think that's fine. I like tanks that have weak spots, but if you're able to use them properly, you can basically hide them. The upper plate on this tank is upwards of 360 to 400 bajillion. It's obviously a Chieftain upper plate, so it's ridiculously well angled, and you're going to struggle to pen that. Lower plate wise, awful as usual, 120 mils thick, and as we can see, the side armor is also absolutely awful. Even at literally like a 1 degree angle, you can pen this vehicle right through the track wheel. It's bad. Side armor is only 57 millimeters thick, meaning that high explosive ammunition will be able to cut through the side of this vehicle. And the rear, obviously because it's a Chieftain, is only 25 on the hull and 30 on the turret. I'm not sure if this counts as spaced armor. It doesn't look like it does, so that's something you're going to have to keep in mind. Overall, the Chieftain Proto looks to be an absolutely fantastic tank. It's literally a Chieftain Mark 6 with slightly worse gun values, slightly worse things here and there, but with better armor, more mobility, and the same hesh and overall penetration with very similar accuracy. Honestly, this tank looks absolutely incredible, and I think it's going to be a beast when it gets released in Tier 9. Now, something I should mention, as always, is that these statistics are subject to change. And while they are currently looking very good, I think they could be nerfed, especially the super speed boost and reactive armor, but I guess we'll find out. I personally believe that the Chieftain Proto is going to be absolutely fantastic. It really doesn't have many downsides, and as I always say on the channel, you should never judge a tank by its strengths. I always judge a tank by what its weaknesses are, and that sounds kind of silly, because yeah, obviously you want to look at, you know, a tank's high level of DPM and whatever. However, usually the better way to know how to play tank properly is to see what it's bad at, and the Chieftain Proto really doesn't have anything it is bad at. I mean, I guess you could say town fighting in the open because it has weak hull armor, but that's really it. I mean, apart from weak hull, you can get hull down, you'll have high levels of DPM, accuracy, everything that you need, and you're not going to have really any downsides compared to other Tier 9s or heck, even a lot of Tier 10s in terms of damage per minute. So I think the Proto is going to be amazing. I'm excited for it to come out. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.